Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. We've made it. We've weathered the storm. That was Monday. Well, Monday was pretty chill. I mean, it was a nice stream. But now we're here on Tuesday, the classic. Get a bit of extra art supply fun to start off today's stream. At the very least, I want to show these because I just got them in the mail. We've got about 10 minutes till the usual start time. I'm just gonna flip it over early. Because why the heck not? Alright. Here we are. Hi, hello, hi. Long weekend is coming. It's coming up. At the very least for Canadians and Americans, I think. I was extra glad that I went into the post office today to pick up my package because I saw that that long weekend is coming up. And I know for most folks, absolutely fantastic getting that day off regular work. For the self-employed, it's a little bit of a corkscrew because I can never remember when holidays are because I don't have like a regular job, quote unquote. So it always ends with me just like going out on my regular day to like do an errand and then realizing that the store is closed, which is buck wild. Rod, yes, the media absolutely can be chosen. You can choose whichever things I regularly work in that I have the supplies for, of course. So gouache paint or Copic marker. So this is what I wanted to show you. I just got a package in the mail that has all of these refills. Look at them all. There's so many. There's so many that I don't actually think I can fit them into my Copic refill tub that I have here. So this is the tub where I keep all of my Copic refills. I should be able to make some room. You can see they squish a little bit, so I could get like another row or two in there. So it's like, you know, dang. But I'm gonna see how many I can actually get in here. I'm so excited that I have all these refills now. Because I have another box over here with all of the Copics that didn't yet have refills that I haven't been able to use. So now I'm going to be able to put a ton of markers back into my collection for regular use on Copic Thursdays and just for my regular work, which is fantastic. And I think there's only 8 more that I don't have refills for, and then I'll be done my entire collection of refills, which is kind of wild. Not gonna lie. I truly cannot fit anymore. That'd be great. Just kind of getting them in all one at a time. Ugh. So I'm gonna have to buy, I guess, a different accommodation for my refills. Because right now it ain't happening, so I'm just gonna lay these on top. But I think on Thursday I might unwrap the remainder of these refills, my new ones. But I'm very excited to have those. Big load off my mind. So those are my new toys. As you can see, I've already got the paper prepared for today. I've got the paints, I've got the water, I've got everything ready to go here, except I don't really know exactly what it is I'm going to be painting today. I know vaguely what I want the background to be, but I kind of want there to be a foreground element, so I'm going to think about a couple of different options and then go from there. But maybe you can help me out, chat, since you're here. Since we're all here together. Can you think of any good, like, space-based game environments? I'm trying to think of characters who would be in outer space. I know Mario's been up there. At least once. If not twice. Astroneer, absolutely. Outer Wilds also, yes. Mario Odyssey is a big fave. Man, I haven't checked in on Astroneer in a long time. I have the early access, but I don't think I've played it since it first came out. Genesis Noir. I don't know if I've heard of that. Paper Mario, of course. Thousand Year Door. Oh, the Kerbals. Yeah. I remember the Kerbals. From years ago. I can't help myself playing these things because I don't have to pay bits for them because they're on my channel. So I'm just having a bit of fun from time to time. Mass Effect, yes. No Man's Sky, of course. I've actually been playing a lot of No Man's Sky recently. I've been hopping back in and jumping around because I hadn't played for about a full year, and there was at least 3 major updates in that time. They included like big mech robots that you can pilot around, and they're very cool. Yes, we were talking about space games because I want to paint space today. It's been a while since I've done one of my space backgrounds. I love doing them. I love demonstrating the paint flicking technique, which is one that I don't get to use very often. But I want to put like a character or like an object in the foreground as kind of a vague focal point for the thing. Yes, there's Among Us. Katamari, absolutely Katamari. Katamari is such a cute idea. I have to do that. me look up some good Katamari references. At the very least, it'd be cute to have the prince floating through the cosmos. Just being a little friend. But the prince also has a planet of his own, doesn't he? Prince... planet. Katamari. Oh yeah, he's got a little planet with like a house on it. It's very Dragon Ball Z. It's like King Kai's little planet that he has. In fact, if I look up King Kai's planet, I might get a better like cell reference. Oh, this idea is too cute. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna assemble this piece by piece, and we're gonna see how it goes. Gurneys, thank you so much for gifting those subs. I really appreciate that very much. Thank you. So to make a planet, the first thing we need is a circular object. So for a circular object, I need to pick an appropriate size. I've got a lot of different circles in my home. I don't want to brag, but I do own several circles. So I've got tape here. This is a big tape. So if we wanted to really foreground this thing, we could go like that. And if we did, we'd probably have more detail room for painting the little prince on there. So I might go like that, and then just paint the rest of space in the BG. I just need like a rough circle. Nothing fancy. And then a tomato. So we've got some little shrubs here around the house at the top. And then there's all kinds of objects around, but they're more like kind of UI game portals. Evie, thank you so much for extending your subscription. Thank you, thank you. I always forget that that's an option until someone does it, and I'm like, oh, heck yes. Thanks for sticking with me. Lurk is basically just a command to let the streamer know that you're here, but you're not going to be chatting or necessarily even watching. You just kind of have the stream on in the background for like the view count, I guess. Just kind of a way to show silent support. But also a way to be like, don't call on me for anything because I'm probably going to walk away from the computer for a little bit. Okay, so over here I'm going to put this very large gift. This is where the prince would receive little presents. This is where Matt stretches his knowledge of perspective to the absolute limits and still somehow messes up a little bit, but that's okay. So there's a little ribbon on top of this present. And there isn't actually any trees on the Prince's Planet in the game, but I kind of want to add additional shrubbery to this just to make it look a little funkier. I want to have the prince doing a little wave as if we're like flying by or we're in orbit of the prince's world, and he like looked up and he's like, oh hey, hello. And I'm going to draw these sort of different color strata across because the Prince's Planet is covered in these bands of color. Thank you as always for contributing to the crayon-only stream. We must be making some real progress on that thing. Absolutely motoring through. Let's see what we got here. Manage challenges. Oh yeah, 63%. Totally crushing it. Still 16 days left. Got more than enough time. I believe in you. You've got this. So now, far too many paintbrushes. So I've got a couple of old paintbrushes here, and what I'm gonna get is some masking fluid, or Frisket. Find it, please cross your fingers. If I can't, then I do have a backup strategy, so it's not a huge deal. First gets all dry. I guess it has been 6 years since I bought this, and I don't really use it too often, but as you can see, it is pretty much congealed inside the tube. So masking fluid is something that you put down. It has a water-resistant surface, so it basically plasticizes on the top of the page, and it allows you to paint with water very liberally over top without getting any paint underneath. And then after the paint is dry, you just boop, 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 peel it off. It's actually very satisfying to peel. However, it does not seem like I'll be able to do that, so I might have to mask it with tape. Alternatively, I can also just paint around it, so I think we're good to go. There's always a plan B and C and D. You know what? A while ago I did, I'm not going to dig through all my sketchbooks again, but a while ago I did that Mario Galaxy painting in my sketchbook where I didn't even have to mask anything for the foreground. I just kind of painted the background, just kind of went for it. So I think I'll do the same thing here. Just believe in myself. Now, I've never tried to do one of my space paintings with the jelly gouache, but it behaves enough like my regular gouache that I trust it to pretty much do what it needs to do. This technique requires a lot of water, a lot of clean water. So I've got my big brush here for the clean water. Now, unlike my usual technique where I put down a thin layer of water and then kind of go right in with the paint, for this, I'm going to need something a little bit more extreme. So I'm going to be putting down water, letting it soak into the paper, and then going back and putting even more water down. I need this page to be super soaked. Now, I've had my AC running nonstop since yesterday. We're currently under a pretty brutal heat wave. I thought the temperature was actually nice because my phone told me it was, and it's the last time I'll ever believe my phone because I went outside and I burst into flames. So I've had the AC going very, very, very hard, which means, most importantly, it's super dry in this room. So I need to take that into account when I'm working with gouache because it's a water-based medium. I'm using water for the paint, and that means that this page is going to dry extremely fast. So I might even put down an additional layer of water. Okay, let me get my paints down, so I'm going to get a lot of white, a lot of various blues, pretty much everything in the blue row here, but definitely this cobalt, and then the French and Prussian. And then a little bit of this magenta, which I can use to mix up a nice pink. Okay. just mixing up a couple of different sections on the page here so that I can work pretty quickly. The secret to this technique is working fast and blending those things together. We need some pure white. A little bit of blue is going to get in there, but that's okay. And then the galactic center I would like to be across the edge.
Today's lesson, don't trust technology. Accept me, the friendly robot voice that announces things. Take care of yourself, drink water, and hey, fix your posture. 3C.
3C indeed. Thank you, Lion. I'm glad to see that the robot is now working for 100-bit donations. All right, now we're going to dip down into the blue. Oh yeah, Evie, have you have you not heard our robot yet? I've got a robot now. Systematical, thank you so much for the Prime sub. As far as I can tell, it's a thing that's built into OBS. Because it all, excuse me, it all has to run through OBS. Take a sip of my beverage. What we're doing here is progressively getting darker and darker as we move outward from the galactic center, which is kind of cutting across the whole picture. Stretch break is in 2 minutes. No reference today, working straight out the noodle. I looked at a picture of King Kai's planet from Dragon Ball Z as reference for like where things should be placed on the sphere, and I looked at a screenshot from Katamari Damacy 2 just to see what the prints looked like. But for space, I'm kind of flying blind. Which generally I would not recommend, but I kind of paint space the same way every time. But Lyra, you forget that thing I just said. I always paint it the same way. It's not necessarily a good thing. It's good to know how to do this particular way to paint space, but if I wanted to do something dynamic or like wildly different, I would be looking for reference. Also, when I learned how to do this particular space technique, I was watching a really good YouTube video. I can't remember if it was on the Knicker Paint official YouTube channel, which I believe I've posted in the reference den on the Discord. Exclamation Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server. Because the way I'm painting space here is pretty much exactly the way that he did. Kind of old-time anime approach, sort of like 70s and 80s anime style. So now we've got the basic background figured out. Now I can start working on this cute little planet. Little black speck there. I want to make sure that that is smudged out and dry before I paint over top of it. Now, let's do a little bit of cleanup on my palette. I'm gonna need some brighter colors, not these space colors anymore. For now, at least. Bloop, 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 bloop. Wet side, flip over to dry side. Beautiful. Let's actually get some yellows on this palette. So I'm going to go into the golden and the lemon, and I'm going to make a mixture of those two. And a little bit of bright and dark green. Those shrubs. So, I'm gonna grab the cover for the paints because I'm gonna use my hairdryer to help dry the background a little bit before I go into too many of the planet details, mostly because as I'm painting along the perimeter, I don't want any wet edges to bleed back into the planet paint. So, let me just mute myself real quick. Also, I ignored the first stretch timer, so let's take our stretch also. I'm going to stand up and do this. All right. I've given it a quick dry, and I've also curved the board back into a more suitable position. It's probably gonna like re-curl itself in a second. Basically trying to ease it into a way that isn't bowed. And hopefully we get a nice clean edge when we peel that tape off. Always a gamble. When you're using a lot of water, even the sturdiest tapes sometimes let a little bit underneath, but honestly, I can be completely honest, I kind of like the way that it looks sometimes. I like a little bit of like a really clean edge, and then one of the sides just has like a little like, I think that looks cool. Okay, so we've got the space background. Now it's time to focus on that planet. So let's go ahead and look at the King's Planet, or the Prince's Planet, I guess. So it's got a bunch of stripes on it. Some of the stripes are more yellow, some are more blue. I'm going to try to create those three colors. Now the background's dry, so I don't have to worry about any of those colors bleeding in. I've got this sort of pale green, almost pale mint. Now I'm going to do one that's more yellow and a little bit more mid-tone. Take some of this mid-green and some of the yellow. Mix that together. Huckleberry, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I really appreciate that. Lastly, we've got a big dark ring around. Into this mixture, I'll add that dark green. And I'm adding a bit of texture variation as I go across here because this is what I assume is grass. I don't actually know. I've never walked on the Prince's Planet before, but I assume that it's sort of a grassy surface. So I'm trying to make it look a little grassy. have a preference between zinc and titanium white. I would say titanium, definitely. In terms of like fancy paint, if you're looking for longevity, zinc has been shown to wear first. It's not as light fast and it will degrade other colors that it's mixed into for a lot of different types of paint. Primarily oil paint, but I think everything kind of going down. I mean, it's the same materials essentially. So for that reason, titanium would definitely be my preference. But I do still use zinc sometimes for opacity, because the reason you'd want to use a zinc is it's so thick. It's just like a very, very, very thick paste. Thank you. It is kind of a little watermelon, isn't it? I always assumed that zinc would taste like toothpaste because that's the consistency that it comes out in. It's like a very, very thick toothpaste. Whereas titanium is more like... I don't even know. I don't know if I've ever eaten anything that looks the way that the consistency of titanium feels. Inspector Gadget painting hands. Now, what does that mean? Like, my wrists would flip up and there'd be a bunch of paintbrushes and stuff inside? Or all of my fingers had different painting tools? Because if that's the case, then maybe. It would certainly be cool to always have supplies on hand. Pun intended. That would be pretty cool. Although, painting with your finger might be a little weird. I mean, you get used to it, but... Oh yeah, I guess I have done a finger painting stream. No longer archived though, I believe, which is a shame. I should have grabbed it before I went down, but that's okay. It's kind of a special thing just for us. But yeah, that was my very first channel points reward. And it was where I learned that these scoundrels are so fast at donating channel points to things. I need to put a new coat of paint on the house front. A color for the makeup look on your stream? Absolutely. Cool collab stream would be if it was like one person was putting on a makeup look and the other person had to paint a picture with just the palette selections of the person who was doing the makeup. Like you had to follow the lead of the other person. That'd be a really good like limited color study. I would be super down for that. Paper towel blotter page has become fully saturated. It's time to re-up that. We on the stretch timer. 9 minutes left, okay. Gold and green is a very good combination. Need a bright ink, so I'm going to grab some of this magenta that I've got here, mix that in with some Any online courses I would recommend to start painting gouache? Got supplies the other day, but don't know where to start. Yes. As always, I recommend going to James Gurney's YouTube channel first. He's a great resource. He's got a lot of great sort of step-by-steps on how he paints, and that is exactly how I first learned to paint. So I highly recommend his stuff, and if you want to take it even further and see full demonstrations, he has a great Gumroad channel, or Gumroad page, I guess, where you can buy full-length tutorials where he walks you through several paintings over like the course of an hour or so, and they're absolutely invaluable. And he also has books and things like that available if you want to like go even deeper than that. So highly recommend James Gurney. Most of my learning was done like through YouTube, basically. Just sort of finding things that I wanted to learn and then just searching them up. So things like the Knicker Paint channel, where I learned how to paint sort of weird backgrounds like this. For me, the most important thing was to find a subject I was interested in and then try and learn how to make that thing. And that's how I kept my motivation up. Because I was like, this thing rules and looks really cool. I'm a simple man. very welcome. Okay, let's paint the little present down here. I almost called it a treasure chest. That's not even a little bit what it is. I love it when my birthday rolls around and I get to open all my treasure chests. At what point do you feel confident enough in your art skills to be like, oh, yeah, I'm an artist? Boy, howdy. I feel like... I don't know. It feels like one of those external things. You expect it to be internal, but it's external. Because most of being an artist is just making things and hoping that you can communicate effectively. And then eventually someone's like, oh, I get that. Like, I like that, or I understand that, or like this touched me or moved me. And at that point, people tell you that you're an artist, I guess, is sort of my perspective on it. As far as being a working artist, it's kind of a different kettle of fish. That's when someone sends you some money and says, like, I like you enough that you can have this. But again, external validation. Your mileage may vary in terms of how important that is. Use this to buy a kettle of fish. Yeah, was that a thing? Did people put fish in a kettle? And why? Stretch time. I'm just gonna mop up the last little bit of paint off of this treasure chest here. Got the local color pinned down. It's like shooting fish in a barrel is one expression, but also that's a different kettle of fish is another expression. And I guess I understand the fish barrel one because, you know, you fish up fish from the ocean where fish live, and then you store them in a barrel in the town, and then you can shoot them and they can't get away. They're like wild game that can't run away from you. So they're the easiest possible animal to shoot because they're trapped. Which, messed up expression. Also, stop shooting fish in the barrel. But I don't understand the kettle of fish thing. Kettle of fish without the different is a different expression. What? Casey? First of all, hello. Secondly, you're blowing my mind. Thirdly, we gotta find out more about this fish kettle. I want to see results on my desk by 5. Could definitely also be one of those things where, like, kettle used to mean a different thing. In the Victorian period, a lot of aquariums were heated by fire, and unfortunately some of them had mishaps. Thus, there was a catchphrase of kettle of... Oh, okay. It's like sardonic. But also fish kettles are the long saucepans that have been used since the 17th century to poach fish, especially large fish like whole salmon. Fish kettles. So it's probably one of those... words that's either a borrowed word or a weird old English word, where it was like anything that you heated up and maybe like roasted something in or parboiled something in was referred to as a kettle. Referred to as a kettle. rebend this backboard. I don't think I'm going to use this board anymore, only because it's a little thin. So when it gets wet or damp at all from the paper on top, it tends to bow, which you don't want in a board. I want it to be a kettle of fish. Okay, so I've got the base color on here, and now I'm going to dip into my darker colors to shade that box. So today what I'm painting is the Little Prince's Planet from Katamari. I think it's the second Katamari game. We Love Katamari, or We Heart Katamari. And it's a little planet where the prince lives and just has a lovely old time. And I feel like the more that you play the game and collect all of his little cousins, the more people are like roaming around the planet, which is really cute. Have a good stream, Kate. See you later. need something big to cover. Well, if I use the tape roll... Oh, hello there. Nice to see you. Alright, so I'm going to cover this up for 10. And it doesn't necessarily need to be fancy. There we go. Now for this next part, it is pretty vital that we have a clean... Here we go. So I'm going to play this Gentle Thunderstorm for everybody because I think it's nice. And I'm going to get some color prepped. Then I'm going to do a quick test. Okay, that's good. See you later. His house a little raincoat here. It's got a couple spats on it, but it's not a big deal. You can always do touch-ups at the end. I always love adding the stars. Now we'll lift and we'll do a couple of little touch-ups here.
Thank you, Ziggs.
And just because I feel like using everything at my disposal. A bit of ink in there. All right, and now for the best part. Get ready for the tape peel. Let's see how clean this edge is going to be. Pretty clean so far. Lux, thank you so much for the Prime sub. 10 months now. Thank you, thank you.
Eiffel 1 tape, Eiffel 1 tape, Eiffel 1 tape.
Eiffel 1 tape indeed. Thank you. Very glad you did. Also, wow, I think that's maybe the cleanest border I've ever gotten on a space painting before. Let's go ahead and give that one a sign. What do we got here? 29th, the month is over. Thank you, Pluto. This is Katamari Damacy. This is the Little Prince's planet. I keep calling him the Little Prince. I just mean he's a prince and he's very, very, very small. But he's not the Little Prince from the books. I'm actually very happy that I get some Mario Galaxy vibes from this. In these paintings, I always like to put a couple of red stars off in the distance. It really adds some depth. And then also I want to get nice green planet in there, because the Princess planet was pretty close to Earth, So I'm just putting a little green guy in there to be the Earth. So there we go. We're actually a little early to end today, but that's okay. I've got some laying down and staying cold to do. But I hope everyone had a nice time hanging out with me. I had a nice time as always. I'll be back on Thursday for my stream, but I believe that there might be a painting stream with one Abby Russell going on tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I simply hope it's true. And everyone, please stay cool. It's way too hot outside. So stay safe. I hope you have a great evening, / morning, / whatever it is, wherever you are. And I shall see you next time.